Alright, hey, what's up guys, this is Samuel G. This is a video about game design, and it's mostly about question I'm gonna ask because I get a little confused sometimes, and this one is actually interesting. I want to know what you guys think, and take a good listen to this, and I mean, let's see what you guys think about that. I don't want to become political with this, but I want to become more like theoretical with this. There is a couple concepts out there: designing, hacking, editing, cannibalizing. And I want to take these four, and I want to ask the question: what is the difference? Because obviously there is one, because we have a word for them, but sometimes it gets blurry a little bit, and I just want to know. I just want to see the issue. I was listening to Narrative Control recent podcast, and there was a discussion between Sean Littner, Vincent Baker, and Luke Crane about what is really designing, what is a game design, and how much hacking become game design and stuff like that. And is there like a threshold you pass? You've been hacking a lot, and then it's so hacked that now it's design. And it was really complicated somehow, because there was like a question about, okay, so let's say you design a game in your car on a graph paper. You take some sheet or some notes, and you create some mechanism. You don't have a whole game yet. Is it game design? You have like a couple ideas and mechanism in place, and is it game design? Vincent Baker was kind of like, yes it is, but there's a difference between designing a whole game and designing this and that. And Luke Crane was like, on his podcast, it was not criticizing, but he was mentioning stuff about all the people that has been doing the Powered by the Apocalypse games, where it's basically, and he mentioned something really controversial, like all these games has been designed by Vincent Baker. And it's obviously not the case. He designed Apocalypse World, and these guys took some ideas from Apocalypse World and bring it in another direction. Adam Koebel, co-creator of Dungeon World, in one of his stream, discussed that conversation, and he's kind of critical about that. He said, and I kind of agree with him, and this is why I'm doing this video. I want to know what you guys think. It's like, he says, for all these people who design all these games that are based on D&D, but they are not D&D. And and he was mentioning about his game, like Dungeon World, and how it's not Apocalypse World. I mean, even though it is powered by the same engine, it put the game in another direction, and it creates another thing. He had to create classes for that game. He had to create all kinds of stuff for that game. So is it what? And he was like, is it game design? And it's kind of like, for me, it come down to this, because of what Luke Crane mentioned in the podcast, and for me, it come down to this. I mean, there is somehow of elitism of being a game designer. Like, I design a game, so I'm a designer. You haven't, so you're not. So this is an important thing. This is cultural, this is political, and this is social. This is basic. We understand that. It's kind of easy to understand. Now, a lot of people create homebrew house rules and stuff like that. So what they are doing, they are house ruling. Let's say it's not a hack yet. It's house ruling. So you take something out, you change it a little bit. Then you can do something called cannibalizing, where you have a game and there's something you don't really like in it. So you take another system from another game kind of thing, and you put it in there to make your own kind of thing. And it's so you're designing your experience. You're not necessarily designing a game, because the game exists already. It plays on these distinctions. Then you have hacking, where you this one is complicated and this one is weird. Some people would say that Dungeon World is a hack of Apocalypse World. Like when it, or is it cannibalizing Apocalypse World because it takes so much of it? So it takes so much that it's not cannibalizing anymore. Cannibalizing is for little things, you know what I'm saying? Now, what it is right now is it is so. For me, it's all come down to design. You know, what is an RPG doing? An RPG creates an experience. It creates a type of experience that becomes emulated by a mechanic and the system, and the system is powered by some kind of engine that is mechanically or statically or mathematically balanced in a way that it works. And and this thing, when you apply this thing to your experience, you get to have a fantasy emulation or cyberpunk emulation or something like that. And there is a setting in the back of that to skin that engine off, and gives it a flavor, you know. So, and then you use that together with a couple people, and you manage to tell good stories and have fun and have this experience. So anytime you hack, design, house rule, cannibalize a game, you're essentially doing the same thing every time, but on a different scale. And it's really boring proposition here, but for me it's like, when you cannibalize something, you take a small part of another game, you put it in there, and you make your own out of it. You adapt it to something, you know. When you hack, you take a game and make something different out of it, so it's a little larger. When you house rule, you know, take something away, take something in, modify a little thing, so you don't get a whole system like cannibalizing a mechanic. You manipulate it a little bit, or you avoid it completely, or you do house rule on social contracts, so you don't even touch mechanic. But you know what I'm saying. So every time you do all these changes that are bigger or smaller on the scale of things, they are, for me, they seems to be the same thing. You design your experience. You are designing what you want to feel, what you want to have as an experience for that session or for that game or with that group or whatever. You're designing your fun, you know. You're designing the feeling of that thing, which is the game. So it's for me, these words, I think they came up to exist to serve, you know, of course, the, you know, epistemological purpose, where we need word concept to describe specific things, which is cool, which is understandable. But it also seemed to be like a political thing, where you're not a designer, so you're a hacker. It's kind of, you don't have the sergeant, you don't have the general grade yet, you know. Oh, that's a cannibalizing thing about, so it's just pejorative term. So the people don't want to say design, because design is like the mecca, like the word, the shiny word, like so they, you know, it seems like a little pedantic to call the design. So some people create these less word, because I don't know if you understand, but design is nice word, it's positive word, but cannibalizing, hacking, house ruling, homebrew, all that, these are more pejorative words somehow, just especially cannibalizing and hacking. Now, editing, and that's Adam Coble word, is an interesting one. It's the only one that doesn't seem as pejorative as the other words. And it's been proposed by, you know, by the one that has been almost called on, like, you're not designing a game. Vincent Baker designed the game, kind of thing. So for me, it's weird. I don't know what to say about this one. Editing. It's like we made it better. We cleaned it. We edited it with a fantasy setting on it. What is it? I'm not sure. So all these words, my proposition, what I want to say is that my proposition is that these words are they I agree with Adam Coble. They all design word. You know, it's almost like this. Yeah, he said it very well. It's the same question of, you know, is it possible to have new ideas? People has been building on each other. You know, we stand on the shoulder of giants. It's a classical, it's a classical quote there. You know, and we gotta admit it. So for me, it's all about designing your experience. You know, if you want to play about designing a game or not, I understand all that. It's all good, but it all come down to design work, as well. So that's my proposition. So now, what do you guys think? What is game design? What's the difference between hacking, game design, cannibalizing, editing, and all these words that are being used nowadays to describe a simple act of crafting, modifying, designing a game or an experience. All right, thank you for watching. I'd like to hear what you guys think about these words and these concepts. And yeah, talk to you guys soon.